JUnit as a habit, not an afterthought. Lab overview. Lab overview. Prior to beginning Lab 1, it is necessary to install several software programs such as Java Development Kit version 14 from Oracle, Toolbox app from JetBrains, IntelliJ IDEA IDE from JetBrains. The following slides will provide textual description of what needs to be done. The video following will show how to get it done by doing the installations by hand. After the installations, it will be necessary to clone an existing ready-to-use Git repo for the course. Install JDK 14 from Oracle. Go to https://www.oracle.com/java/java.se-downloads.html. Download JDK 14. Any version for your particular operating system will do, for example 14.0.2. Install JDK 14 on your computer and remember what path it installed to. Especially if you choose a custom location, you should copy it so that you remember. Add the location of your JDK 14 to the Java_home environment variable, and I would say add the bin of that location to the path variable. Install Toolbox app from JetBrains. Go to https://www.jetbrains.com/toolbox-app/, well, you could do without the last /. Download Toolbox app for your particular operating system. Install Toolbox app. Launch Toolbox app and review the list of integrated development environments available for download. We are interested in IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate Edition. Install IntelliJ IDEA from JetBrains. Select IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate from the list. Select the install drop-down list, which is to the right of the IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate item. Pick version 2020.2 to install and click on it. Alternatively, you may pick the release version, which is the latest, but do not pick early release version or candidate release. The integrated development environment installs. Click on the IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate menu entry to launch the application once the installation is completed. Go through initial configuration screens selecting defaults everywhere. Also select Evaluate for free when you are prompted to enter the license. This will give you 30-day free trial of this software, which should be enough for our course. You may optionally also select a dark theme to be easier on the eyes. It will be presented within one of those initial configuration screens. Clone GRG-001 JUnit as a habit GitHub repo. Select menu option Get from version control at the initial IDE launch screen. Select version control system as Git from the version control drop-down menu. Put the following URL into the URL text box. https://www.github.com/and Angolovin GitHub/GRG-001 JUnit as a habit. Put the location to where you want the cloned repository to be located into the directory text box. Click Clone. This should download the initial project to your local hard drive. Alternatively, if for whatever reason the clone operation is not working, you can get the project from grg-001.courses.entangolovin.com/content/grg001 JUnit as a habit.zip. In that case, you would unzip the archive and use it directly within the IDE. It already has the project file within the zip, and so you would go to File, Open, and basically open that file, and it would import the project. Configure GRG-001 JUnit as a habit project. We have cloned the GRG-001 JUnit as a habit project at this point, or downloaded, unpacked, and opened the zip file. From within the IntelliJ IDE, click on File, Project Structure, go to SDKs, and on the left-hand side of the opened dialog box, and make sure that JDK14 is listed in the list of the JDKs. It may be listed correctly, in which case you're done. It may be listed, but the path could be wrong, in which case, my apologies, in which case you have to correct the path, or it may not be listed, in which case you can edit. So if it is not listed, click on the plus sign and manually edit from the file system. If it is listed, let us go on to configuring the location of our test classes. Go to File, Project Structure, go to Modules menu element on the left-hand side, right-click anywhere under the existing tree for the projects folders, and select New Folder from the drop-down menu. Name the new folder Test, click OK. Now you should see the folder Test added to the tree of folders for the project. Highlight the folder Test, press Alt+T to make this folder a content root for unit tests. Make sure the color of the folder turns green. Next, we will add JUnit 5.6.2 library to our project, because we must use it in order to run unit tests. Go to the Libraries item on the menu list, right under Modules. Click on the plus sign and select from Maven. In the dialog box that pops up, enter org.junit.jupyter column JUnit-Jupyter column 5.6.2 and click the magnifying glass search button. When the IDE finds the correct library, select it from the drop-down list that will show, then click OK. Select the project to install the library to from another dialog box that automatically pops up after you click OK in the last bullet. Click OK, then click OK to exit the project structure dialog box. And you are done configuring the project. Good job. Lab Overview Conclusion. If you run into problems installing the software programs, you can reach out to me at the following email address: instructor@grg001.courses.entangolovin.com. Similarly, if you run into problems cloning the Git repository or downloading the zipped project, you can reach out to me at the same email address. Good luck with the indispensable labs. Let's get started. So this is the hands-on equivalent of the previous instructional video, where we do a hands-on download of every application that we need to proceed with our labs for this course. So please navigate to this URL. And we're going to download JDK14. Any subversion is fine. latest one usually is the preferable one. For this type, for this day, it is 14.0.2. So click on JDK download. And we're going to select the one for our operating system. Windows x64 installer is the one. Let's click on it. Let's accept the license and let's click download. I'm going to follow the download from the downloads tab of the Edge web browser. Any web browser will do according to your preference. So let's see. Alright, and the download has finished. Before we proceed, there is one very important step that we have to remember to do, because otherwise we are going to have a lot of time wasted in various antivirus things that will slow us down. What we have to do is we have to temporarily disconnect our antivirus, and depending on which antivirus you have, there will be different steps. So I'm going to disconnect all the antivirus activities pertinent to this download. Right, and I'm done. Now I'm going to click once on the downloaded file. And I'm going to click install anyway if you're prompted by your operating system. And I may have to provide the administrator password unless you're already logged in as an administrator on the system. Alright, click yes, and the download begins. Now remember, this step for deactivating your antivirus is very important because, for example, IntelliJ IDEA is about 700 megabytes of data, and if we fail to deactivate the antivirus, it's just going to take a very long time to download, to check that it is legitimate, etc. We already know it's legitimate because we'll be downloading from the source. Alright. For Windows, it's a very nifty trick. Let's remember the path that we're installing this JDK2, Control C to copy, OK, and next. So I will come back as soon as it installs. Alright, it has installed. Click Close. Then start a File Explorer instance. Go to this PC, right-click on it, click on Properties. Click on Advanced System Settings. Enter the administrator password, unless you're already an administrator. Select Environment Variables. Go here. Well, in my case, I have a Java home from a previous work. So let's do a new Java home. Do a paste. That's where we installed our JDK. Click OK. Go to Path, Edit. I also have it from a previous install, so I'm going to delete it and put a new one just to show how it's done. It's going to be the same. Do Control V. That's where we installed the JDK, and I have to add bin to it. I have to add bin to it in order to get the full path to java.exe. Click OK. Click OK. Click OK. Now you have to remember after we installed everything to log out and log back in or just to restart the computer in order for these new changes to be picked up. Right, let's close out of this, close out of this. And now let us go back and install JetBrains Toolbox app, which is a very convenient management console for installing JetBrains IDEs. So we can install it for Windows, Mac OS, or Linux, according to your operating system. I'm going to install it for Windows, although myself I prefer Linux. Alright. Now I'm going to follow the download from the Downloads tab of the Edge web browser. Alright, we are done installing. Downloading. Let's install it. Click just once. Click install anyway. And it proceeds to install. For this one, there is no need to provide the administrator password because it installs for the local user. Click install. The installation proceeds. Excellent. Alright, before we click finish, we need to make sure that the checkbox is checked that says run JetBrains Toolbox. Click finish. Then let's go here because it will launch here. Alright, it's launching. And in my case, it's going to go here. Alright, let's wait until it loads. And let's see what it presents us with. So basically we are interested in IntelliJ IDEA Ultimate, and we are generally interested in the latest release, which in our case is 2020.2. Depending on when you are taking this course, you may have a different release version. That is perfectly fine. Just do not install the release candidate version. Install the latest released version. So let's click on it. And it's going to download it and then install it. So I have a pretty fast internet connection, so it should take only a few minutes to download and a few minutes to install it. I'm going to come back once it has finished downloading it and has started to install it. Remember, it's about, I think, 700 megabytes of data. Alright, it has finished downloading, it has started to install. Let's wait a couple more minutes. It is still installing, and I will be back once it has finished installing. Alright, and it has installed, so what we're going to do next, we're going to click on it right within the Toolbox app, and it's going to open. Alright, we don't want it to share our data, even if it's anonymous. Alright, it's migrating plugins. Alright, and it is starting up. Alright, so it's presenting us with either the ability to enter our license data, and there are various ways to do it, or to evaluate it for free, which we want to do. This will give us a 30-day free trial. Click Evaluate. And it continues to start up. Alright, now let's delete all of this from my previous installation, and this is what we're going to do. So we're presented with a screen to start a new project, open or import a project, which is what you would do if you were downloading a zip file, unzipping it, and then doing open or import, get from version control. So that's what we're gonna do now. But before that, I'm going to do one additional step. If you were installing this software application for the first time ever on your computer, what it will do is present you with a screen that you have to step through in order to basically select the initial settings. And that's what I'm going to do now, even though obviously on my laptop it's not the first time I ever installed this application. You are likely to be in the position where you're installing it for the very first time, and I want to give you the most authentic experience of how it will be the first time. All right, let's see. And this is what it will look like when you're just installing it for the first time ever. So I would suggest you select the dark theme just because it's easier on the eyes. And then you can just click skip remaining and set defaults. For our purposes, it's fine. All right, and now it's going to present us with the same dialog box as the first time. Alright, so new project, we don't need this. Open or import a project, and again, if we were doing a zip tab file that we were downloading and zipping, then we would choose this option. Or the preferred option, get from version control. So let's click it. Now we need to provide the URL for the initial project that is available in the course's GitHub repository. I'm gonna bring it over from the other screen. I have a two-screen setup. All right, so we need version control git. URL is going to be this. And I'm going to, I have a preferred place where I put projects. This is a good opportunity for you to put the project where you want it to go. I would like to put it to this URL. That's my kind of favorite place. Okay. So now we are going to clone it. And hopefully everything goes well in cloning, no network issues. Okay, it's going to be loading components. Preparing workspace, etc. All right. It's telling us that JDK is configured. That's good. So let's take a look at the project. That's our project. Those are some initial files that we have initial code for our utility library. All right, and what we're going to be doing now, we're going to be configuring this project. We are going to go to File, and we're going to go to Project Structure. Here we're going to go to SDKs. We can see that the IDE properly configured version 14. It found it, actually. All right, next we're going to go to Modules. And we're going to click in this space, select New Folder. And we're going to enter Test. We're going to click OK. And we can either click Alt plus T and see that the folder is now marked green, and it says it's a test source folder. If that doesn't work for whatever reason, we can just click this button. Alright, so this is the folder where the IDE will expect unit tests to be, and where it will direct the JUnit library to look for unit tests to discover and run them. Alright, one thing that remains is for us to download the correct version of JUnit. Because by default, IntelliJ IDEA wants to deal with JUnit 5.4, but we want JUnit 5.6.2, which is the latest as of August 2020. Alright, let's click on the plus sign, select from Maven, and we're going to type exactly this string that I'm going to bring from the other screen. Alright, it's going to be exactly this string. Which are the coordinates in Maven Central of the library that we need. It's going to be org.junit.jupyter column junit-jupyter column 5.6.2. Now click on the search button and let us wait until the IDE discovers this library in the Maven Central repository. Alright, it has found it. We're going to select it. We have the options to download it to a more centralized location. We have the option whether or not to bring transitive dependencies in, which we must in this case. We can also bring sources, Java docs, or annotations. So we're not going to do it now. Let's click OK. Alright, it's likely to ask us what project we want to import the library into, and we're going to choose our project. Let's click OK. And it has imported our library just fine. Alright, we are ready. Let's click Apply. And let's click OK. So now we have the source folder, the test folder, we have the external libraries, we have JDK 14.0.2. We have the JUnit 5.6.2. Now let us try to build this project. And let's see if it builds correctly. If it builds correctly, we'll know that everything's fine. And we'll be ready for lab 1. Let's go to the build tab. Alright, the very first time we run it, it's going to take a lot of time to do. So we just have to be patient the first time. It's also, please keep in mind, it may still be parsing JDK 14. Wonderful. It took us a minute and a half, but we got it done. So let's try to run it a second time, just make sure it will be faster this time. Well, it took us 22 seconds. Still not bad. I mean, could be faster, but... so. All right, well, thank you very much for your attention. Now we are ready to proceed to lab 1. Please do not skip the labs, they are essential. Thank you for your attention again. Good job.